And we're going to go back to back this week. We're going to have tonight City Councilwoman Kymberly Pine will be joining us tonight, and then therefore the next night Mr. Bud Stonebreaker, a very highly requested gentleman as well. Couple news and notes before we get started. Hey Pachi. Couple news and notes before Kymberly Pine joins us. I just want to go shout out to everybody that caught attention of the Sam Taylor. Caught attention of the telethon, Teletron 2.0 IG Live telethon. I did this back in May, seemed like forever ago, but it was an IG Live telethon for various charities every hour. This time around, August 1st, 6 p.m., Saturday night, we're raising money for 50 laptops for 50 families with kids. So every time the link will be coming up shortly for the donation as the Teletron begins, but you're going to donate on that said link, $20 increments, and when you donate, you are going to nominate a family with a child or children, because a very underrated situation is children who have just one laptop and they're sharing it with 2 or 3 other kids. So keep that in mind as you're nominating a family when you're donating Saturday night. I'm going to try and build up some other things to coincide with it to build the money up. We're going for Google Chrome laptops. So apparently, I didn't know it was this cheap, but Google Chrome laptops is like $150 retail, or a little bit under that. So if we do the math, 50 laptops times 150, we're looking at about $8,000. So the goal is $8,000. I think it can be done. I totally think it can be done for 50 kids to get a laptop. School season is kind of in disarray, right? I mean, the news today, it just showed that may not even happen live. It's going to go back to virtual. So even more so, we need to get these laptops for the kids. I'm pretty much sure, well, I know we all love Macs, but too expensive. Google Chrome will be the way to go, because there's no way we're going to be able to get 50 laptops. What's a Mac laptop really right now? Like $1,000 minimum? $50,000, Pachi. So yeah, we're going to go to Google Chrome. And all the kids really need is like email and then Zoom chat. What is a kid really using a laptop for? It's basically like a phone. So, but I digress. 50 laptops. The goal is $8,000. Got the guests. I don't want to kind of jump the gun and throw the guest names out there, but the guest names have been coming in, and I don't want to reveal the list just yet, but that's going to be coming up this week. I'm kind of finalizing the list. So the way the telethon works, Saturday night, August 1st, every 15 minutes someone is going to join me. I'm going to be on the air for 4 hours straight. God help us all. And every 15 minutes someone is joining. Hey, Wait Viral is here. Every 15 minutes a different guest joins us. And hey, hello guapo. It's going to go pretty quick because everybody's going to have their different take on things, and we're going to just talk story. We're going to hopefully have a lot of guests that are going to have kids. I want to get like a teacher on as well, and kind of go from that angle. But the guest list will be finalized. That's coming up. The link to that will be finalized. Bud Stonebreaker tomorrow night. And on top of that, this is what it looks like, people. This is it. There, perfect timing, Pachi. Here it is. See my address? No. But this is the ballot. This is what it looks like in the mail. It's not spam. It's not like some, credit card loan, you diversifying your credit cards or whatever. Do people still get those kind of things in the mail? Like you can consolidate your debt. Those you throw away. Or you use them. I don't know. But that's the ballot. So you use the ballot. This is it. I'm covering the address. This is what it looks like. Okay. Yeah, it pretty much is. Shout out to the person designed this. Hopefully they're not on here. Open it up. Vote away. People have already voted. People are going to be voting probably after tonight, after we get to hear Mrs. Kymberly Pine. August 8th is the election day, but the votes are going to be coming in. There's not going to be a polling place really. Is Honolulu Holly open for live voting? I'm not sure about that. Mufi brought that up last week, and Mufi, everything he says, we always just kind of wonder. So shout out to everyone that checked out Mufi last week. He sang. And yes, it's a hockey puck. I don't really get it, but shout out to everybody that has voted already. Shout out to everybody that is voting. And Honolulu Holly is open to go check that out. Kymberly Pine is on here. All right, now we can get things going. Let's officially begin. Kymberly Pine, currently in her second 4-year term as a member of the Honolulu City Council, the granddaughter of Filipino immigrants who came to Hawaii to work on sugar plantations. Kim was born and raised on North Shore, attended Waialua and Honolulu high schools, along with going to University of California, Berkeley. Kim, I'm just giving you a little quick intro, and we'll get you on here. She's currently the chair of the City Council's Committee of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism. Prior to the City Council, Kim served 4 terms in the Hawaii State House of Representatives, serving communities of Ewa Beach, Pu'uloa, Iroquois Point. Kim lives in Ewa Beach. She's a wife, mother, animal lover. Let's bring her on in. Let's get her on here. Here we go. Okay. Oh. I worry about this stuff all the time. The Wi-Fi and the connections, I get worried. Thank you.
This is the second day in a row. I'm convinced that one of my opponents sent a menehune into my house.
You know, I believe it. It's a thing. It's just so, I worry every single time. So thank you. Thank you very much for joining me.
During COVID, I just decided that you just got to go with the flow, yes, and just not expect anything to be perfect.
Yeah, you got that right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. And pretty much I want to kind of lay it out for you for tonight of how everything's going to go. I'm basically giving you the time to delve into any topic that you want. We're not going to use any timers. We're not going to use any kind of sound bites or anything. This is kind of your time to express if you want in more detail, or if not, of any of the topics going on. I'll throw out some stuff to you. We got viewer questions. We got live questions. So it'll go by real quick. And hopefully we don't get kicked off by Instagram or anything, but we'll try.
How long do I have with you here?
Okay, so Instagram, this is the thing. They cut us off after an hour. They just don't like people going on longer. So yeah, so we got that. So
no wild parties. We gotta stick to the point. Okay, got it.
Stick to the point, but you can go and embellish. I want to let you embellish. So no timers. We're gonna let you get to know the real you. So. And let's get started. Let's start with the origin for the people, I guess, just finding out about you. What did you do for a living before starting in politics?
I was supposed to be a journalist, giving you the news and doing investigations on government. And I got a call from a politician many years ago.
Yeah.
That said, my press secretary, I just lost her, and her husband got restationed somewhere else, and I need a press secretary. And he said, no, you're a politician, you're the devil, and I'm not going to work for you folks. I'm supposed to cover you folks. And he was very convincing. He says, Kim, how are you going to understand power in Hawaii if you don't work in it? You have to know how this building works. And this was at the state capitol at the time. And so he was very convincing. And I said, I wanted to be a good reporter and uncover a lot of corruption and waste and mismanagement. And that was my specialty. And then I got there and I said, oh my goodness, I can't say, oh my, you know what, because my daughter.
Okay, good call.
So, and I couldn't believe the corruption. And see, my grandma was part of the plantation movement that came together, and all the different plantation workers that fought against the Lunas and the plantation owners to bring Hawaii back to the people and bring the workplace back to the people where they can serve the people. And I felt like the plantation workers had suddenly become the Lunas, over time, and had forgotten that government's really supposed to serve the people. And so I kind of spontaneously ran for office. I didn't even expect to win. I knew that I was running against the president of one of the most powerful unions in Ewa Beach at the time. And everyone said, Kim, there's no way that you can win against an incumbent that also is the president of a union at the same time. And I said, that's okay. I just want to push him to remember that he serves the people. And I unexpectedly won my office by a landslide. And so that's kind of how I became elected leader, and it was never
Right.
something that I had planned to do.
And this kind of takes me into the next thing here. So you get in. Now you want to run for this crazy job that's mayor.
Yes.
So what was the thing that clicked that was like, this is the time I'm going to do this?
I think Sherwood Forest and wanting to bulldoze Sherwood Forest was kind of the final thing for me. And seeing a lot of my solutions for homelessness and affordable housing legislation that I passed, monies that I put in the budget to solve the problem, was not moving at the pace that I wanted to, or not at all. I had worked at a homeless shelter. I understand this issue very well. And the policy was just to sweep them from one street to the other. It made them more crazy, more violent, get more, they wanted to use drugs more because their safe place was destroyed.
Yeah.
And it was just a combination of those things. And even though I'll be 50 in a month and a half, I have a 5-year-old. I was a little late, for some reason. I didn't get blessed till 10 years after I got married. And I started to really become concerned about my daughter's ability to live in Hawaii. And with a lot of the policies that I passed, we built 4,000 affordable housing units while I've been in the city council. I've been giving keys to people for as low as $500 a month, especially in my district. In the center of Kapolei, gave a bunch of seniors keys to their home for just $600 a month. And I gave a family, a single mother who was in a domestic violence shelter with 2 kids, keys to a 2-bedroom for just $500 a month. And those are the things that I want to continue to do, but I don't feel like there's other leaders out there that understand these issues. And this is the most important thing you can do for people in Hawaii, is lower their cost of living. And then, of course, COVID hit. And I am more convinced than ever that I'm the most capable and prepared person to do this job. No one has been on the job working in the city, understanding this a very complicated and frustrating and sometimes unjust system. During COVID, also seeing the mistakes that were made by certain leaders and knowing what we have to do to move forward. And I'm the only one that has proposed new economies that we can start in 6 months. It just so happened that I've been working on this from 2 years ago, seeing that we could have a crisis in the future. And so that kind of is the short story of why I'm even more convinced than ever that I need to do this job.
Right. I told you I'm letting you embellish, so just feel free. It's your time. But we're gonna get to the economy in a bit. I just want to get your thoughts on, okay, tourism is moving to September 1st. What did you think of that? Would you have opened it in August or earlier?
I don't know if I can agree on a time, but I can tell you, and my job is to be honest with all of you about what's really going on in government. The tourism industry is a mess, okay? You have general managers that are fighting each other right now. Certain general managers and owners of hotels are saying, look, we are not ready to open. We don't have our sanitation practices down. We don't even have a pre-testing system to pre-test tourists before they come. No one even has a solution for the problems with that right now. We don't even have mandatory number of staffing that you should have to prevent the spread of tourists. And then you have other hotel owners who say, no, we're just going to go make money. Just bring them all in. And if it happens, it happens. And so this is what's going on behind the scenes. And so without the governor telling you what's really going on, he said, we're going to postpone it, because he's had these meetings with these people and he sees what of a mess that they are and that they're not ready. So that's what really that postponement was about. And my job is to tell you guys the truth and what's really going on behind the scenes. And so I agree with the delay because they're not united in how they're going to fight this virus.
When do you think realistically this could happen with all of that going on behind the scenes?
I believe we can open in 2 weeks if people stop being greedy, okay? And really make people's safety a priority. Because I'm talking to some hotel owners, says, Kim, we're going to do what it takes to do this right. Because if we don't do this right, we're going to have another outbreak. Then Hawaii is going to be known as a place where COVID is everywhere. Yeah. And so there are hotel leaders that say, we can do this now, but it's the other ones that aren't even owned or have any connection to Hawaii. They're owned by what they call these reinvestment types of firms,
Corporates, right? Yeah.
where they come here for tax breaks and say
Yeah.
they're going to give jobs to local people,
Right.
but really they want to just have robots check you in now.
Yeah. I mean, well, you mentioned the revenue streams. I guess with tourism being in disarray as it is, what is something that you mentioned in 6 months we could get going off the ground? Another type of revenue.
Okay. There's a couple of things that I started to look at before this happened. The federal government made some changes in its laws to allow military branches to start putting out bids for projects that break large multi-billion-dollar projects into smaller projects. And so no one in Hawaii, because this passed not too long ago, no one in Hawaii is really even preparing for how to take advantage of that law. And I know this because my husband just so happens to be in the military and works at the shipyard. And we have been talking, and he says, Kim, right now you have a great opportunity, whereas before you could only bid on maybe 20 subs to fix at a time. So who's that going to go to? That's going to go to that multi-billion-dollar company from the mainland or from another country that has the bond rating and the ability to have thousands of staff to show the military they can bid on that project. Whereas now there is an incredible opportunity that we have not taken advantage of, where we can have Grandpa's electrical company now bid on just one sub instead of the 20 subs. And no one is helping these smaller contractors to learn how to do this process. So tomorrow or this week, we are going to have our first Zoom meeting, inviting everybody to come and learn how to bid on these projects. As mayor, I would partner with these smaller companies, give them a chance to prove themselves with the city so that they have what they call a rating that has been proven by another government entity. And it's something that I want the mayor actually to start doing now. And I'm hoping he starts doing that because we have the ability to do that. The second thing is our agricultural economy. And everyone said, Cam, we've tried this, it can't happen. I said, okay, well, what makes agriculture so expensive to do here now? So it's several things. It's land. It's the cost of fertilizer, believe it or not, is really expensive. And we have to buy it from the mainland. And of course, water. So as tourism economic development chair for the last couple of years, I've been trying to tackle that cost. So we found an inventor here that has been working he can create water from the air. And so he has an invention that's ready to go, that's been proven to work, and it's safe for the environment. So instead of having to build all this infrastructure to get water to all of these farms, we can put these little machines throughout the island now that cost way less than the infrastructure and the digging and getting the water systems there. For just a fraction of the price, we can give this to farmers all over. And government can pay for this, and we can use our COVID funds for this because it's all about sustainability and responding to the crisis because supply chains are starting to get cut off. The second thing that we discovered with another local inventor, and this has been tested and proven, it's called TCOM technology, where they can take waste and turn it into hydrogen or a high carbon fertilizer. The most prime fertilizer in the world we can make here for free from our food waste and our agricultural waste. And so that takes care of that part. And then of course, government has already bought thousands of acres of land, the Galbraith lands up in Wahiawa area, we bought so that we can grow more of our food. And so the breadfruit economy is booming around the world. And another candidate teased me and said, breadfruit can't replace tourism. And I'm not saying that anything can replace tourism, but while we are transitioning to diversify our economy so that we're never in this position again where we're over-dependent on one economy, and when that crashes, the whole world crashes. What we discovered with breadfruit is that, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's promoting the meatless diet, right?
Right.
With the Game Changer movie that's going crazy. In 5 years, it's going to be a $25 billion economy. And guess what a food source they're saying has the best protein? breadfruit. But no one can get enough of it in terms of buying it from a store because there's no supply chain. The second thing that breadfruit has been discovered the last 2 years is this substance called squalene. Right now, Asia loves this substance. It's in the liver of a shark. And it is like a miracle moisturizer. They kill 1 million sharks a year for their liver.
Wow.
They found squalene in the flour of the breadfruit just by chance. And so they are working on sourcing that. And the other thing that they found is there's a certain formula that another inventor that's working with Hawaii people that, with gluten-free bread and gluten-free products is a $20 billion economy in 5 years. And they discovered a certain formula mixed with the breadfruit flour that the bread rises just like regular bread. Okay. Have you ever tried gluten-free bread? It's like a rock.
Yes.
It's so bad. And so how do you get the supply chain? So we've been working with 80,000 farmers across all of Polynesia through the University of Hawaii's Polynesian business section. And they are about to sign agreements with 80,000 farmers to corner the breadfruit market. And so this is from every Polynesian country you can think of. And they want to send it to Hawaii because we're America. We can trade better. We already have certain areas where we can have, within 6 months, we can reuse the old flour mill for the breadfruit flour where we can process it. We can use this other invention that can help to process it and turn it into a powder. And so we expect within 10 years that we can grow a multi-billion-dollar economy where it could almost replace the current tourism. But we can still have tourism, but we have to redo tourism now because we should go back to the tourism of the 80s where we have brought the same amount in that we do now, but we had half the tourists.
Right.
So that was a very long answer to your question, but when you're talking about saving the world, it takes a little while to explain it. Yeah.
A little bit. That's fine. Then I got to ask you, when we're trying to, as we're diversifying, we're altering tourism the way it is, how do we now market tourism in this new world? As we eventually open and we want to get a different tourist in here, what's your take on that? It's the marketing.
Well, we need to market to high-end people like we did in the 80s, where we got double the amount of income for one tourist. And what happened over time, we just went into kind of this cheap, high-volume tourists, and we realized that not only do we have twice the people, we have twice the people that are abusing our beaches, our parks, our roads. Right. And so local people are saying, why do we have so many more potholes? Because we have twice the amount of people here and we just can't keep up because financially they're not really giving us much anymore. So you really have to get the whole tourism economy together and those leaders of it. Say, what did we do in the 80s? Let's go back to how we marketed Hawaii then. And instead of going for the masses, we are going to go for that prime tourist. We're going to make Hawaii so beautiful. Our beaches and our parks will be the most pristine places in the world. And that's good for local people too. We will put in the investment to our natural environment. And we'll start helping those hotels who are marketing to that high-end tourist.
Yeah. Well, I guess switching gears here, got a viewer question. Owner of a small business restaurant in downtown. Chinatown and downtown have always had homelessness issues and individuals who are mentally ill. Union Mall and 4th Street Mall have become open-air drug markets. Not uncommon to see individuals injecting drugs openly in broad daylight, along with the threat of random acts of violence being done to our community. How will you be able to clean up the open-air drug markets, as well as keep large populations of homeless from congregating in our city square? Your question.
You have to put enough money into drug treatment programs. You have to put enough money into mental health programs. And I can tell you the truth, that government has not done that. Typically, the state is in charge of that area. And I know they have a lot of things going on, just as the city. But we have spent and wasted so much money just dealing with the effects of homelessness. And so people say, we're going to get the money for things like that. And I'll give you an example. So one homeless person we followed. He called the ambulance every other week. And he called social services and other departments. Police responded to different calls, and we showed that he cost us over $1 million a year, just this one guy. But imagine if we created my tiny house village project that I want to put all over the island in government land that's away from, certain areas, but has agriculture in it, has mental health treatment, as well as drug addiction services. We spent $12,000 for this new tiny house that we were able to build that's even hurricane proof. We put him there. We surround him with all these social services. We would save $960,000 just by doing that for this one guy.
Right.
So you can't just sweep them. And that's what frustrates me with this philosophy, that you just sweep them from one street to another. You got to solve the reason why they got homeless to begin with. And you've got to go all in and spend the money that you need to spend, because you're going to actually save over time by taking care of that problem.
Okay, so you bring up a great point that I wanted to delve into. Whenever we have these mayoral forums and these debates, we always talk about the solutions to homelessness. What, in your opinion, is the creation of this? It seems to gets worse and worse every year. What do you think was the origin of what set this whole thing in motion?
So since Governor Ariyoshi was governor, we have, for this state government, dramatically reduced the amount of money that they put into mental health services, and dramatically reduced the amount that they put into drug addiction services. And I can tell you that I have a family member that we thought was just a rascal his whole life. Even as a kid, he was always getting in trouble, always in the principal's office, right? But what we realized, he just had mental illness his whole life. And we just weren't educated on that. And so what happened, he went into the construction industry, because that's what you do when you can't go to school and it doesn't work for you, right? Sometimes. Well, at least for his particular case, there's other successful people in construction that are very smart people and they become multimillionaires, right? But for his particular case, that was what he could do, right?
Right.
He had very good physical fitness, but he fell off a roof, and what did the doctors give him? Oxycontin. Right? And whoever has given that drug, it is over for you, because the addiction to that is so high. Yeah. And so now you have this huge volume of people that are addicted to that and other drugs because of pain and things like that. And so there's just not enough services. And I can tell you, I couldn't get him into a homeless place right away. I couldn't get him into drug addiction services right away. And I'm an elected official. Can you imagine the regular Hawaii resident, the cool family that you always liked, but had that secret family member, the frustration that they have? And so he was homeless. He became homeless because he couldn't get any help. He couldn't live with the family because he became violent, and we just picked him up last week. And we finally, there was an opening somewhere at the same time, which is very rare. It's like 99% of the time, it's never the right timing. But someone left, and he was there, and I don't know if that would ever happen again. So this is kind of like my family's last chance with him, because all the other times it just wasn't the right timing. So I can tell you that as mayor, this will be a top priority, because my family has suffered 30 years of this, 30 years up, down, all the time. And it is a painful experience, even for a good family like mine. Yeah,
that's definitely needs to be at the forefront, especially now more than ever. One of the shift gears, I guess, into this is something that has been brought up a lot from viewers, is the Department of Planning and Permitting. A lot of people, we all know, notoriously for being slow in approving plans. If you have a house, if you're trying to redesign, what have you, many small business owners they view their fast track application as like a legal extortion, I guess. If elected, how would you change that status quo and create a friendlier, more efficient DPP? That always comes up.
Well, I'm glad you asked this, because I also had the good fortune to be appointed by my fellow council members to chair the Zoning and Housing Committee for several years. And we made sweeping changes to DPP in terms of giving courtesy inspections. So while you're waiting for your permit, you can have someone do a courtesy inspection, and just make sure that certain things are safe and you're following, building codes and things like that. We recommended more staffing. We gave them more staffing. But the biggest thing that I recommend, because we basically did a lot of suggestions to the mayor what they need to do, is they seem to have this tradition of having a very heavy plan approval process. So typically in other cities, you put in your plans, you get your permit pretty quickly after that. And then you start building, and then they have people going in and inspecting to make sure that what's in your plans match what you're doing in the field. But we have like a plan check process where we're double, triple checking everything. But anyone can lie on a piece of paper. It's really, and that's how monster homes happen, right? They have this beautiful plan, but when you saw it, oh, that's so different from what's really being built. Yeah. 10 kitchens, right?
Yeah.
And a half.
Please
and so
fix that.
I've recommended a lot of these different changes that the mayor can implement now, and for whatever reason, those changes haven't been made. As mayor, I could start on day one and make numerous changes to DP the first week, and we can get you your permits. I believe instead of up to 2 years, we can bring it down to 2 weeks to 6 weeks, depending on the level of intensity of your project. And that's unheard of, but I have found cities throughout the nation that show that you can do that. You hire a lot of people in the inspection process so that illegal activities aren't done. And can you imagine what this could do for our economy now? If the mayor does this now, he can do an executive order and do it now. I estimate that we've lost about $5 billion to our economy in the last 5 to 10 years, just because of the slow process of DPP. People losing their contractor because they just had to move on to another project. Yeah. Interest rates changing, they could no longer afford it. Or that poor family that I've had to deal in Waipahu, that was living out of their house. They bought vacant land, and for 2 years they're paying for both properties because they were waiting for their permit. So they unfortunately had to give up one of their properties, and that was
That's
the
a common occurrence.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I guess going into building things, let's get right to the rail, Kim. What are we doing with the rail? Are we stopping at Middle Street, or are we moving on? What do you think?
We can't just stop at Middle Street, because I'll tell you why. You need 100 or more buses to stop at Middle Street in a 20-minute period just to get people going. And so it's complicated. It's a lot more complicated than just saying, we're going to stop right here. But I do believe that we should build as far as we can. And we do have money coming in that go beyond Middle Street that we know of for sure. But should we not get to Ala Moana? Because, let's just be honest. And my job, again, is just be honest with everybody. We don't have the money with this crisis. The new formula to fund rail was to tax the tourists. And we have almost a 0% tourists compared to what we've had before. So the funding formula is no longer there. I will not support taxing people more because they don't have money either right now. So we build as far as we can with the money that we have. And then we have to redo the whole bus system where we drop off in multiple locations, to transfer to different areas. Because again, you can't just have 100 or 200 buses stopping in one location. So we're going to have to reevaluate and go back to the federal government and see if we can get some more money for buses, because there is a funding formula for more buses that's automatic. So actually, should we not be able to finish the project all the way now, we do have the ability to get more federal funding for the buses no matter what.
Definitely. That's just a back and forth type of answer for everyone. Really, it's a tough situation. Money is everything. Got another viewer question. Here's another one for you, Kim. We got, will police be used to intimidate and arrest Hawaiians peacefully protesting the further desecration of their lands through corporate greenwash projects like the AES Kahuku wind farm, which never went through the proper environmental assessments and was pushed through despite very strong and vocal resistance from the Kahuku community? What will you do to address these conflicts where large corporations can drown out community voices and push development projects through in communities that do not want them?
I talked about this in my job interview, and the reporter says, what are you going to tell the contractors that follow the law, that went through the approval processes, and all of a sudden there's protesters stopping the project? Don't you think it's fair that since they follow the law, that they should go ahead and build? And then I answered, I said, but did they really follow the law? You know, you look at the Mauna, for example, all the people that the original protesters that were up there, they weren't just protesting this last year. They've been protesting since the beginning of the project. They said, this is my religion. This is where we worship our God. Yet despite that, meeting after meeting after meeting, they said, you know what, we're going to go forward with it. Sherwood Forest is another one, and I worked on that very closely, where people from Waimanalo said, please, Kim, I know it's not your district, but please come and just see for yourself what's happening here. They told the mayor before he even gave the award for the contract, this is where my ancestors are buried. That is the most pure form of opposition. When you go through these hearings, what has happened is they follow the law, sort of, where they have these public hearings, but there's we're not going to even take care of any of their concerns. We'll just check the box that we had these public hearings. But as mayor, I would say, wait a second. You've had these hearings. What was the opposition? And what did you do about it? And for example, you know, we have another project coming up where someone wants to build an affordable housing project, like an apartment in Kailua next to grandma's house in a residential area. And they want to create affordable housing. They say, we need it. I said, well, wait a second. Did you talk to the community if this was the right location to build an apartment next to grandma's house? And of course the answer was no. We had a meeting, and I said, yeah, and how many people were supportive? And they're like, nobody. But they were going to go ahead and build anyway. So that was a frustration, especially with Kahuku, with Waimanalo, and also on the Big Island with the Mauna, that no one even cared or listened to what they said. And so that will definitely stop when I'm mayor.
And with that, here's another one I just got in that kind of ties into what you just said here. Your question, with your strong ties to the West Side.
Someone wants to say hi.
Hey. Here she is.
Look what happens when I'm campaigning. Look, she's got chocolate all over her shirt.
This is, well, yeah, she's young. It's fine.
Chocolate ice cream.
As long as you're not allergic, that's good. Good that you build them up. You know, have them eat chocolate. Don't all these allergies. You know, too many kids with allergies. So good. Get them chocolate. Good.
She's loving mom campaigning right now because she knows dad can't say no, right?
Well, that's right. You get free. There's perks. So. Okay, so I gotta get this one in. This is an interesting one. I'm curious to hear your answer on this one. Your question: with your strong ties to the west side of the island, how will you win over us townies? Viewer question.
What is a townie like?
I've been trying to figure that out myself.
So the person asked the question: what's the difference between a townie and the west side?
It's all one island. You know,
other than we pretend it's really dangerous to come to the west side, so don't come to our beaches, but it's really nice and we're not that dangerous.
Well, west side, best side, the only side, yes. I guess if we're looking at downtown, I guess how would you win over the downtown crowd? How would you win over Makiki or Kaka'ako?
Well,
what do you think of?
For Makiki, I would say I passed legislation that stopped all the monster homes and I pushed them to the apartment zone with my apartment zone legislation that helped open up the apartment zones to actually build. See, what has happened over time with our building code, and this is what frustrates a lot of old-time family that owns a lot of land. Yeah. So law after law was passed where if you had a 20 square foot property in an apartment zone or a 10,000 or 20,000 square foot property or a 10,000 or less property, over time, politicians passed these setbacks where you could build a house that was like 1 foot tall in an apartment zone. So that's why you had all these people that were very smart, seeing that the building code allowed them to build an apartment next to grandma's house.
Right.
So I finally met with them and said, why are you building an apartment next to grandma's house? And they said, well, first of all, Kim, we're building affordable housing, and you can't build an apartment in the apartment zone. And so we passed this very difficult legislation, or even the developers were a little mad at me at first, but we worked for 6 to 8 months to get this new legislation to push all these developments to the right place, right? So downtown, I would tell them about my homeless plan, which I've shared with all of you, that you attack why the problem is occurring. That's how you solve homelessness. And then, of course, you give them a home. But what has happened before I got on the council and became zoning chair is we were spending $180,000 a unit with your taxpayer dollars to house a homeless person or a person with affordable housing. I got those units down to $12,000. Imagine the masses that I could help house, the people we can get off the streets, get them drug treatment, get them their mental health care. These are things that I know how to do. I'm the only person that's running for mayor that understands this issue very deeply and personally, and actually can give you numbers of how much things are going to cost. No other candidate can tell you those things. I don't mean to bash Keith Amamiya, but he says he's the only candidate that put out a housing plan. Every point in that housing plan is a thing that I already passed at the city council, and there's only one thing is left, and then that is taxing vacant units, and we're going through that in the council right now. And so I can get all these things going all in my first week. I just can't wait to that first week, because I'm going to be passing this, and we'll check, and fix all of these problems that I've been dying for the mayor to fix.
Sign them off. You mentioned Keith Amamiya, and just the other week you were part of the Hawaii Theater debate, the Mayoral Debate, that was KHON Mayoral Debate. And I think maybe towards the end, this made me think of, it seemed like you were you explained to me, you mentioned how much your salary was out of comparison to everybody else. You're saying that, I'm only making $45,000 here. We got all these millionaires. Was that a event of frustration on your part, or what were you trying to portray to all of us watching that?
I'll be honest with you, I did not expect to say that. I'm looking over at Rick Blangiari and Mufi and Keith, and they're going like this, and I see their Rolexes that cost as much as my Kia van, okay? And they're very successful people, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I have seen leaders run for these positions because there's benefits. There are financial benefits that are offered to them. Their family, somebody becomes wealthy after they become a politician. Their cousins suddenly get all these contracts and become wealthy. This is a business for them. I still make the same low income that I did when I first ran for office. Obviously, I have not been able to take advantage of the system, or I thought maybe it's unethical. So I'm really doing this because I love Hawaii. I am like every resident that is wondering, am I going to have to go to Vegas like half my family? Do I have to go retire in Texas and Florida where they're not going to tax my retirement income, right? I have these thoughts with my family every day, and I'm a beach girl. I know I don't look it like right now, this is my mayor look, but
you got a tan.
This is from sign waving, but I'm normally a lot darker. Before this, I did the Molokai Channel canoe race. I've done triathlons. I was an all-star soccer player.
Yes, you were a jock.
I love
growing up and now.
Yeah. Yes, I love Hawaii. And I can't, the thought of thinking that my daughter or my family has to go there, it is something that I'm very passionate about, to help not just my family, but every person be able to afford to live here with my affordable housing plans. We built 4,000 already. We have 4,000 more in the queue. And as mayor, I want to get up to 22,000.
Unreal. I guess let's shift gears here, because this is what I wanted to end out with yourself. I wanted people out there to really get to know you to another tier. So we're gonna go with this route. What have you been watching at home? We've been all at home before the campaigning. What are you into at home? Do you watch Netflix? We're going into fun questions, Kim.
Yes. I have been watching Frozen 1, Frozen 2, Trolls 1, Trolls World Tour, because I don't get to watch TV anymore.
Hashtag
I have a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
My husband and I, when she goes to bed, we're like, let's go watch a regular adult movie. And then like we both pass out because we're so tired.
I got it. Yes, okay. I set myself up for that answer. I was figuring. Okay, so you mentioned you used to play sports, or you play sports currently. You're an athlete. Do you think competitive sports should come back or take a pause right now? You got NBA starting up
Here's
next week.
Here's my philosophy on who opens, who closes, right? Whoever can prove that they have the ability to not spread the virus should be able to do what they do. I am against what happened where all these huge big box stores that have these expensive lobbyists that has the governor and the mayor's cell phone who were able to open, yet grandma and grandpa who sold the similar stuff in Makiki was told that they had to close and can barely pay their bills today, right? So my philosophy is I don't care who you are, what you are, whether you're rich or you're poor, you show me as mayor that you have an ability to protect us all and stay open. Then you know what? You can stay open. But you know we're going to have inspectors. We're going to enforce, what you're told us that you could do. And if you can't do it, then we're sorry. Then we have to close you. But we're going to give you an opportunity to prove that you can do this.
Right. Yeah. And well, it's all going to come to a head. NBA is opening up. Baseball's opening up. So we shall see what happens there. What's playing in your car right now? When you get to drive by yourself, I'm sure that's probably rare because you got all the people and you're going from one to the other. What's in your car? What are you playing?
Meditation music. But I have to tell you though, the Trolls World Tour 2, it's kind of actually has some cool songs with Justin Timberlake, and others, right? So I'm kind of like digging my daughter's music right now. You're really tired. I wake up at 4, I go to bed at 11, right? I'm sign waving, I'm calling, I'm walking, right? And I'm in the sun, and
you're going delirious.
Music. Yeah.
I guess so. Well, I was gonna say, depending on what you was gonna say for that answer. All right, the show is based off of foundational of hip hop music. When the phrase hip hop comes out, what word association do you think of? Is it some more kids shows? Or?
No, like I go back to the 80s,
Oh, really?
And Dr. Dre, and all the guys from then. And so I haven't had a life much. I've been serving the people. So I kind of go back to just my college days and before I got a real job.
Okay.
Where I used to go dancing a lot.
Here we go.
If you watch some on Instagram, you'll see that I really like to dance.
Getting to that. Okay, so college, what were you listening to in college? What? Do you remember?
Just everything.
Dr.
Oh my
Dre's
gosh, you're showing that I'm senile. I can't remember.
We're all old and losing our mind, but Dr. Dre's good because Dr. Dre's West Side and
yes, West Side all the way, man.
West Side, the only side. I guess I was gonna ask you this then. What do you eat plate lunch? Favorite plate lunch? I
do like a cool teriyaki plate lunch with macaroni and rice from Rainbow Drive-In. Because after I used to train at Kapiolani Park, one time I was training both for the Tin Man and Molokai Channel at the same time. It actually was the best way to cross train so you don't ruin your body. And I would go there and I would eat like 2 plate lunches. And it was so awesome because I never gained weight because I was working out like 7 days a week.
Oh, how's you? Wow. So you get the terry. You wouldn't get the boneless chicken. Like you would get the terry chicken?
No, when I like something, I just get that thing. I've been eating that, and the slushy with the ice cream.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh man,
that's automatic. So awesome.
Yeah.
When was the last time you gone out to dinner? Is that does not happen? Because
before COVID.
Yeah, where'd you go?
I went to Zippy's. Because I only make $45,000 a year, bro. Okay.
I know that's.
I didn't go to like where Rick goes with his steak and lobster. Okay,
That's
and
it. That's an excellent answer. She ain't lying. She only making 45.
And then I would ask, hey, what's the special tonight that's cheaper? Right.
Right. That's right. Wow. And then you did dance on the IG. I gotta say, when's the next TikTok? You doing the TikToks? Your daughter's doing the TikToks.
We did one because I had a request saying you got to do a TikTok. So we did one because of that. And I have to think about which song because I don't understand this stuff. You know, this is the younger generation,
it's
right?
the young people music, yes. I don't get it either.
We believe that everyone has a right to request the song. And so we will respond. But I have to tell you, we were in Waikiki at the open street thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, there was this guy in a yellow shirt dancing by himself. His wife was, you know, sitting down behind this big boom box that he had in a little mini trailer, right? And his two little dogs. And I'm sorry, the Tootsie Roll song came on, and I could not help myself. I could not help myself. You know, went back to the day, we've been all stressed out. We think we're going to die, right? From either corona or not having any money. And then he played the Tootsie Roll. And so I'm sorry, I just had to dance with him because he was by himself.
Wow.
I believe that it is a service to society as a mayor. That if someone is dancing by themselves, that you are obligated as a leader to dance with that person.
Hands on. That's hands on. Wow. I don't even know where to go from there.
Hey, so do we only have till 7:30?
Yes.
What if we stay on and then I get to ask you questions?
Oh, we're going to have to turn it off and then turn it back. See, what's going to happen? It's going to shut down, right? So we're going to have to we all get panicked
Then
out.
we got to do it again.
And then we got to like press the thing.
And you have to send me an invite because I clearly did not do a very good job responding to your invite because I pressed it and I didn't know where the heck I went after that.
I got worried. But then we got to figure it out. And then it's, I was going to say, okay, 808 Viral, I was going to say this. Did you drop it low, Kim? How are you dancing
I
this
did, and then I remembered that I was almost 50, and I think something kind of cracked a little bit, and so I had to go back up.
Wow. See, this is good. See, this is good. This is how we do it. That's another song. But okay, well, I got
This is how we do.
See, you got it. You got it.
Where's the song?
Wait. Okay, yeah. Shout out Montel.
Did Rick Longery do that when he came on your show? How about Moofy? Maybe Moofy might have done
well,
that.
Well, Moofy sings whether or not he's on camera or not, right? So he's a singer.
He can do a good song. Can I tell you one time we were on see, my job is to tell you guys all the behind the scenes stuff, right?
That's why you're here.
So we were getting for this Waikiki forum with all the candidates, right? And we're all in our different little pods in Zoom, right? And then Moofy got up and he went to the bathroom and flushed the toilet. And you know how it like whoever makes the sound, it shows that it's Moofy. And I was just like, did he just flush the toilet?
Well, these interviews get better and better, don't they? Wow.
But, look, I can be very serious, and I think I showed that I know the intellectual side.
Of course you are, yes.
But you also have to be with the people. It's very important that you get out of the wealthy dinners and you go hang out with the people. You understand what their lives are like. And my job to me is to give people hope, to help them to laugh during hard times, but also understand the complexities of the city, how to solve things. I've been chairs of many committees, and we were given the hardest things. We passed sweeping affordable housing legislation that will get us to the 20,000 units where everyone's going to be able to find an affordable home. Homeless legislation, we're no longer going to have people on the streets. We're going to help your family member that has mental illness. We're not going to push them to the side anymore. We're going to give them drug treatment, and we're going to give them a home where they can have dignity. And the economic ideas that I've just given you guys a couple, because there's to diversify our economy, it's very complex, but I can already show you multi-billion-dollar economies that we've worked on, and it's been proven that we can start in 6 months and get us out of this.
Right. Well,
and dance on the side, okay?
you know what twerking is, Kim? Okay, but
I
we got 2
do, but
minutes.
I am not even gonna go there because
I'm not having you
I
twerk
don't even
tonight.
know if that's
But
dancing. I'm sorry. I'm from the 80s and I'm
it's
having a
not.
hard time with the twerking thing, you know.
It really is not. But I gotta leave you with this ender. We got 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna get you to go to another level of emotion. All right. Here's my
Okay.
dog. Here's my puppy.
Oh,
This
my
is
dog
Zara.
is just like your dog, but twice the size.
Yeah, from the west side. This is Zara
Oh,
from
really?
Waianae.
Was it a legal factory or illegal?
This
But
was
that's okay.
illegal.
No, as
Legal
long as they
purchase.
took care
This
of
ain't
the
a puppy
deal.
mill. No,
Okay.
we didn't go on anything. I went to Waianae during quarantine, which was great. No traffic. Smooth sailing. And then we got Zara. So I'm gonna
Oh
end
my
this here because I know you're an
goodness.
animal lover, Kim. So there you
Yes,
go.
I am. Don't mess with dogs with me.
Don't mess with the dogs. She was born on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh,
West
that's
Side dog. West Side, the best side, the only side.
yeah.
And the
Well, I
tail
really
shaking.
enjoyed hanging out with all of you guys. If you do
Thank you
want to
very
call me
much, Kim.
back at another time, I do want to be the
Yes,
interview.
I'd love to have you back on. And we're making it on time. We have a minute left. We're making it. We're going to make this. We're not going to get cut off in weird. So thank you. Thank you very much. Go get some rest, please. Get the meditation music. Frozen again. Do whatever you got to do. I want you to have a good
No,
night.
I'm done with Frozen. I'm done. I'm done
Thank
with
you.
Frozen.
Thank you
Yes.
very much.
No more Frozen songs. But
Please
you know, my
no.
favorite song from Frozen 2 is "What Do You Do When Everything's Going Bad? Just get up and do the next right thing."
Couldn't have said it any better. Couldn't have said it any better. Thank
I
you.
love all of you guys.
Kymberly
And
Fine.
ladies, women out there. You
All the
go
women out
get them,
there,
ladies.
man. Thank you very much. Thank you so
We are
much.
taking over Honolulu, ladies, with the first locally elected woman as mayor. All right? Time to
Good
get out
luck.
there.
Yes, good luck to you because it's happening now. We're voting right away. We got the ballot right now. End it with this. We're voting. This is the
All
ballot.
right. Don't throw it away. It's not bad mail.
It's not. Yes, it's not
important.
It's not junk mail. I saw that post. All right. I'll see you. Good night.
Bye, everybody.